Could the banks have a new tenant that could literally raise the bar? And we're not talking another drinking establishment here along the riverfront. The University of Cincinnati has expressed interest in developing academic facilities at the banks, according to a new letter from the city and Hamilton County. Back in 2012, Cincinnati Councilman Charlie Winburn proposed that UC put its law school at the banks, but the president at the time said he was committed to keeping it on campus. The letter, which is signed by Mayor John Cranley and County Commissioner Greg Hartman, asks the state of Ohio for funding to build garages and infrastructure so the next phase of the mixed-use riverfront project can be built. Business Courier reporter Chris Wetterick broke this story and joins Business Courier editor Rob Dahlmeyer in the studio with more on what the parties involved are saying and not saying. Chris and Rob.
Thanks very much, Peg. Chris, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Before I get to the real question I want to ask you, which is, could this actually happen? Why do they want to do this in the first place? Why does it make sense for the University of Cincinnati to move some of its academic programs down to the riverfront?
Well, I mean, the students, there's an emphasis at UC on cooperative learning, on experiential learning, being around the people that they will go out in the workforce and work alongside lately. So it makes sense to a certain extent to have the law school in particular, you know, on near the law firms, the major law firms in the town. There could also be a business school element to this, and of course 4th Street is the center of corporate activity in this region. So I think that's the reason they're going to take a look at it. This is kind of a surprise. They kind of rebuffed this idea in 2012, and the county and the city's letter indicate that they're actually taking a look at it.
Do you think that the transportation issues, you know, anybody who's tried to drive around the University of Cincinnati, maybe it's just me, it can be tough to get around.
Yeah.
It's a tight, urban, packed university. Talk about transportation down to the banks. I mean, the streetcar doesn't go
not yet
uptown.
It doesn't go up there yet. I mean, there's various plans and proposals out there to move it uptown. I'm not sure what kind of effect this could have, you know, on that, but you know, I know that the university and the uptown community would like the streetcar to go up there. It's just a question of how to pay for it. And there's questions about what plan to use. You know, John Schneider, the prominent streetcar advocate, does not favor putting the streetcar up Vine Street as the current plan calls for. He wants to do a more expansive plan where you would dig a tunnel under Mount Auburn and run the streetcar up there, or basically you'd run a light rail up there, not so much the streetcar. So you know, I think that's going to be in the mix in this discussion eventually as well.
So last question, I know it's really early, you just broke the story, but yeah. I mean, could this possibly happen?
Well, when I talked to Greg Veer, the spokesman for the university, he said that, you know, what we need to do is watch the December 15th Board of Trustees meeting at UC very carefully. I think they're going to talk about it. I don't know if they'll cast a vote one way or the other on whether to explore the possibility, but we're going to hear some more about this going forward.
Good. Hey, great story. Fascinating plan, and hopefully we'll have a lot more about this in the months ahead. So back to you, Peg.
Thanks, Rob and Chris. If it's happening at City Hall, Chris knows about it.